When it comes to relationships, one of the most powerful yet misunderstood tactics men use is ignoring a woman. Some call it playing hard to get, while others say it's an immature strategy. But there's a deeper, darker psychology behind why ignoring a woman often seems to work. Now, before we dive in, understand this. This isn't about being manipulative or deceitful. Rather, it's about understanding human nature and what drives people's attraction and attachment. There's a saying that people want what they can't have. The more unavailable someone appears, the more they capture our curiosity, sometimes even our desire. For centuries, this principle has fueled many romantic pursuits, but it's especially powerful when it comes to relationships. Men who master this concept find that a certain amount of distance or disinterest can actually ignite more interest from women. Why is that? Because when you ignore someone, you create mystery. And mystery, especially in today's world of constant connection and transparency, is magnetic. But there's more to this than just stepping back and being silent. There's a psychology at play, one that's based on reward and punishment, presence and absence. When a woman feels the absence of your attention, she may feel the need to work a little harder for it. This dynamic taps into one of the strongest elements in human psychology, the desire for validation. When someone feels ignored or left out, they're often driven to seek approval and acknowledgement from the one doing the ignoring. And that's where the power lies. However, don't confuse this with game playing or emotional manipulation. If used the wrong way, ignoring someone can come off as cold and dismissive, leading to hurt or resentment. But when done with self-awareness and respect, creating space can sometimes allow both parties to evaluate their feelings honestly. For a woman, this space often reveals her true level of interest and commitment. The point here is to understand that the psychology behind ignoring is complex. It's a powerful tool that, when handled wisely, can deepen interest rather than push someone away. Throughout this video, we'll explore the underlying principles behind why ignoring works, how to use it with respect, and how it can ultimately help both partners gain clarity on their intentions. Ready to dive into the art and science of ignoring? Let's get started. 1. The power of absence. The power of absence is often underestimated when it comes to attraction. In a world where constant contact is the norm, stepping back and creating space can make a significant impact. When you give someone room to miss you, it shifts the dynamic. Ignoring someone doesn't have to be rude or manipulative. Instead, it's about valuing your own presence and letting the other person feel that value. Absence makes people more curious about you, allowing them to wonder and reflect on what makes you unique. This curiosity can often lead to a stronger attraction as they begin to question why you're different from everyone else who is readily available. Think of it this way. When something is scarce, people value it more. The same applies to interactions. When you're not always there or readily available, it creates an aura of mystery around you. People are naturally drawn to things they can't easily have or understand. By not constantly being present, you allow someone to invest more thought into you, to think about your qualities, and to imagine the next encounter. It's like leaving the last page of a thrilling book unfinished. It keeps the reader captivated, thinking about what could happen next. For example, consider a man named Alex. He was interested in a woman named Sarah and initially pursued her with frequent texts and messages. Over time, he noticed that she seemed less engaged and more distant. So, instead of continuing to reach out constantly, Alex decided to pull back. He wasn't ignoring her out of spite. He simply gave her space to reach out. Eventually, Sarah noticed his absence, which sparked her curiosity. She found herself wondering what Alex was up to and why he wasn't texting as much. This shift led Sarah to initiate contact, changing the dynamic entirely. By valuing his time and not over-investing, Alex created a space where Sarah could appreciate his presence more deeply. It's essential, though, to remember that this is not about manipulation, but about balance. You're showing that you have a life, interests, and self-respect outside of this person, which in turn makes you more attractive. Ignoring doesn't mean disappearing. It means allowing the other person to recognize your value without constant reminders. This creates a healthy sense of absence that, paradoxically, can draw someone closer to you. 2. Triggering curiosity. Understanding human psychology means recognizing the allure of mystery. When you reveal too much too soon, you risk becoming predictable, and predictability can often lead to boredom. Keeping some things to yourself, especially in the early stages, adds an air of intrigue that naturally draws people in. It's not about lying or pretending. It's simply about being mindful of what you reveal and when. In a relationship dynamic, this is powerful because it allows the other person to keep discovering new aspects of you, which keeps the spark alive. Mystery taps into our innate curiosity, making us want to know more. When a woman senses that there are parts of you she hasn't yet uncovered, it fuels her interest. She'll start to wonder, to imagine, and even to try piecing together the parts of you that remain just out of reach. This process of discovery is not only engaging, but also incredibly appealing. People are wired to seek out what they don't fully understand. It's why we're drawn to puzzles, stories, and challenges. By embracing a bit of mystery, you're naturally creating a sense of intrigue that encourages deeper interest. Consider the impact of silence in a conversation. Silence, when used effectively, can be more powerful than words. Imagine you're on a date, and instead of eagerly sharing every detail about yourself, you hold back a little. You answer questions thoughtfully, but you don't overshare. You give enough for her to understand who you are, but leave certain stories or experiences unsaid. This leaves room for her to wonder and keeps the conversation engaging, creating anticipation for the next interaction. When used correctly, this kind of restraint isn't withholding, it's inviting curiosity. Keeping an element of mystery also shows that you're secure in yourself. It's a quiet confidence that says, I don't need to prove myself or win you over with every detail of my life. When someone senses that you're comfortable with leaving some things unsaid, it signals maturity and self-assurance, which are deeply attractive qualities. Mystery, then, isn't about playing games. It's about revealing yourself in layers, allowing her to savor each discovery. Ultimately, by embracing a little mystery, you're making the process of getting to know you a journey rather than a quick exchange. You're creating a dynamic that's intriguing and refreshing, giving her something to look forward to with each new conversation. This sense of discovery can strengthen the attraction, drawing her in without any overt effort on your part. 3. The pursuit of validation. Another element of ignoring that plays into psychology is creating an emotional high and low experience. It's a pattern where moments of closeness or attention are alternated with periods of distance. While this might sound calculated, understanding the natural ebb and flow of interest, attention, and even a bit of unpredictability can actually make relationships more dynamic. In psychology, this concept is linked to the idea that people value what they feel they've had to earn or work for, and that rhythm of connection and distance often deepens attraction. When someone feels that connection isn't guaranteed, they start to put in more effort and appreciate the moments of closeness even more. Ignoring or stepping back occasionally doesn't mean disregarding or disrespecting someone. It's about creating space that lets both people assess and appreciate the bond. Relationships that are balanced between moments of connection and moments of independence often build a stronger foundation because they keep things fresh, and there's a continuous sense of value in the time spent together. A healthy form of this push and pull keeps things interesting. If attention and validation were given constantly, without any break, it would start to feel less meaningful over time. We see this dynamic in many areas of life. The more available something is, the less value it holds. So, if every moment with someone was predictable and overly available, there wouldn't be the same level of excitement or appreciation for those moments. When you're not constantly pursuing, it sends a message that you're self-assured and secure in your own presence. Taking a step back at times also allows each person in the relationship to reflect. It gives her a chance to think about how she feels, to miss you, and to realize the value of the connection. It's natural to want to reach out and be available, but a bit of patience and occasional distance can keep things balanced and help her feel she's actively choosing to be around you rather than passively receiving your attention. In the end, people are naturally drawn to things they feel are slightly out of reach or that they have to work a little to maintain. By creating a balance of closeness and independence, you're setting up a relationship dynamic that's rich and engaging, while still allowing both of you the space to be individuals. This doesn't mean playing games. It's about understanding the depth that comes from giving each other room to breathe and then reconnecting with fresh energy and appreciation. 4. Setting boundaries and respect. Another key aspect of ignoring that often gets overlooked is self-respect. Many men fall into the trap of constantly pursuing, messaging, and being overly available because they fear losing a connection or being alone. But if you're willing to chase after someone without setting boundaries or respecting your own needs, it sends a message that you're not secure in who you are. Here's where the tough truth comes in. Women are more drawn to men who have a strong sense of self-worth, not men who seem desperate for attention or validation. Self-respect means understanding that your time and attention are valuable and should be given to someone who genuinely appreciates them. If you're always bending over backward to be available, you're telling her that your needs don't matter, that you're willing to put her on a pedestal, even if it means putting yourself down. This approach may seem harmless or even romantic, but it can actually be counterproductive, pushing her away rather than drawing her in. It's time to wake up and realize that real attraction is built on mutual respect, not on overextending yourself. If you feel the need to prove your worth by constantly reaching out, by responding instantly to every message, or by prioritizing her over your own goals and well-being, you're undercutting the very qualities that make you attractive in the first place. Confidence, ambition, and a grounded sense of self are qualities that naturally attract, but they can't be faked by playing games or pretending to ignore someone. Instead, they come from within, from knowing your own value and not compromising it for anyone. To break out of this pattern, start by investing in yourself. Focus on building a life that you're genuinely excited about. And remember that no relationship should come at the cost of your dignity or self-worth. When you stop seeking validation and start setting boundaries, it not only changes the way others see you, but it also shifts how you see yourself. This is about more than attracting someone else. It's about showing up as a whole, fulfilled person who knows their own value. So, instead of being constantly available, respect your own time, your goals, and your well-being. Let her see that you're content on your own, that you're not waiting around for her to validate your existence. This isn't about arrogance. It's about finding the strength to know that you're worth being pursued too. 5. The balance between interest and distance. The final piece to understand in the psychology of ignoring is about unpredictability. When a man becomes too predictable, always available, or too consistent in his responses, it can reduce intrigue. There's a thrill in the unknown, and like it or not, human nature often craves a bit of mystery. Unpredictability doesn't mean playing games or intentionally creating distance to manipulate feelings. Rather, it's about maintaining a balanced life that naturally makes you less predictable because you're busy living for yourself, not constantly orbiting around someone else. When you have a full, interesting life, your interactions won't follow a scripted pattern because you're simply not sitting around waiting for the next opportunity to reach out or respond. You're invested in personal growth, work, hobbies, and relationships with friends and family. This kind of self-assured independence communicates more than words ever could. It signals that you are fulfilled, confident, and genuinely happy on your own. And that creates curiosity and attraction naturally. Too often, men make the mistake of becoming overly transparent in their intentions. losing any sense of mystery or spontaneity. This doesn't mean that clarity in your actions or openness is wrong. It simply suggests that balance is key. When every move is easily anticipated, interactions can lose excitement. A little unpredictability keeps a connection fresh and reminds her that you're not an open book, that there's more to you than meets the eye. It's the difference between being overly predictable and being genuinely multifaceted. One way to embrace unpredictability is to simply live authentically. When you're genuinely engaged with your life, there's no need to plan moments of spontaneity because they'll happen naturally. Maybe you're busy with a personal project, maybe you're out learning a new skill, or maybe you're just spending time doing things you enjoy. When you're focused on growing as an individual, you're naturally less available and more intriguing. Instead of overthinking how you should respond or behave, allow your life to speak for itself. Let your genuine interests and passions make you an unpredictable, layered person. At the end of the day, ignoring isn't about being cold or distant. It's about respecting your life's rhythm and letting her see that you're fulfilled, active, and secure in who you are. When you approach life with confidence, your own presence becomes magnetic, drawing in others who are equally intrigued by the layers you bring. So, live fully, stay curious, and let that sense of unpredictability invite her into the journey you're already thriving in. To wrap this up, here's a statement that might shake things up. The truth is, women are drawn not just to what a man says, but to the mystery in what he doesn't say. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. When you live your life fully without needing to prove yourself, you naturally draw in the right kind of attention. It's less about playing games and more about genuinely valuing your own time and energy. If this resonates with you, or even if you disagree, I'd love to hear your take. Share your experiences below, and let's dive into the conversation together.